Right, the 2015 question on coordinate geometry from the Junior Cert higher level paper. The equation of the line L is 5 plus y minus 2x is equal to 0. Find the coordinates of the points where L cuts the axis. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a very crooked coordinate plane. That's my y-axis, this is my x-axis. Okay, because I want to just jot down some of the coordinates. So that point 1 on the x-axis, its coordinate is x comma y, so 1, 0. This one is 2 comma 0. This one is 3 comma 0. And of course it works the same in the negative side of the x-axis, minus 1 comma 0, minus 2 comma 0. Okay, so at all times you're able to write down that at the x-axis the y coordinate is always 0. You can see all the zeros all the way along. Okay, now once you know this, you then take the equation of the line L and you sub in that 0 that you have here. Okay, so that you get 5 plus 0 minus 2x being equal to 0. Okay, letters to one side, numbers to the other. Okay, so either minus 5 from both sides or bring across that 5, whichever way you think about it. But either way, you're going to get minus 2x being equal to minus 5. Divide both sides by minus 2, which is the number in front of x. Minus 2 and minus 2 cancel. Minus 5 over minus 2 gives me 2.5. Okay, or 5 over 2, whichever way you want to write it. So it cuts the x-axis at x comma y. So 2.5, 0. Okay, up here you could have changed the signs beforehand and got, I'll just put it in blue, 2x being equal to 5 and then divide both sides by 2. That's perfectly fine too, but either way you're going to get that x coordinate being equal to 5 over 2 or 2.5. Okay, so now we have to find where it cuts the y-axis. So again, in a similar way, if we look at points on the y-axis, that is up 1 on the y-axis, but I haven't gone over at all on the x-axis, okay? So it's 0, 1. Come up here to 3, that is 0, 3. Here, 0, 4. Let's come down. He is 0, minus 1, 0, minus 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so therefore at the y-axis, can you see always your x coordinate is always 0. Okay, so that's why I will always write down in this question at the y-axis, x is 0. Okay, so you don't have to draw this out once it makes sense to you. It's the opposite coordinate to the axis that's 0. So at the y, it's the x-axis. At the x-axis, it's the y coordinate that's 0. Okay. So again, I would solve. So in other words, into this equation, into the equation of the line that you're trying to figure out where it crosses the axis, you sub in your x is equal to 0. So that I get 5 plus y minus 2 times 0 being equal to 0. So that's 5 plus y is equal to 0 because 2 times 0 is 0. Bring over the 5 and you get y being equal to minus 5. So it cuts the y-axis that you always put your x-coordinate first, and on the y-axis the x is 0, minus 5. Okay, so that's how you find out where it cuts the x and y-axis. Very important question for higher level. Okay, this whole question is very important for higher level. Find the slope of the line L. Well, you have two ways of doing it. You can go y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, These are 2 points on the line, so you can label them x1, y1, x2, and y2, okay? We've just found 2 points on that line where it cuts the y and the x-axis. Okay, we know that it cuts the x-axis at 1, 2, 3, 2.5, 0. We know that it cuts the y-axis at -5, so -1, -2, -3. -4, -5. Okay, so it cuts the y-axis at -5. So if I was to draw that line, I would end up with something like that. Okay, so you have 2 points on that line. So of course you can use the slope formula. Label the first point x1, y1, label the second point x2, y2. So that you get y2, x1, y1, x2. It's my y, I can't even read my own writing. Okay, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so you get -5 over -2.5. So you're getting a slope of 2. Okay, is there another way you can have done that? Of course there is. You could use y is equal to mx. Y is equal to mx plus c, because when they give you an equation of a line and you write it in this particular format, there's your slope. Okay, and then this one is where it cuts the y-intercept, which we would expect to be -5. Okay, so how do I use this to figure out the slope of that line? Well, I have 5 plus y minus 2x is equal to 0. So we want y's first, that's good. Then we want our equals to sign, so he needs to come over and he needs to come over. Then my x's, then my numbers. So we have our y. We then need our equals. You're coming over and you're coming over. We then want our x's, mx. So minus 2x becomes plus 2x, plus 5 becomes -5. Okay, so then straight away you can see your slope, which is the number in front of m, is 2. And of course we didn't need it for this particular question, but you can see your y-intercept is -5. And that's how all the different sections of the line chapter link together. Okay, let's try the next part. The line J goes through the point 11,6 and is perpendicular to the line M. Maybe I shouldn't have been so quick to rub that one off. Okay, the point J goes through the point 11,6. Okay, well, I don't have it over far enough to know that it goes through the point 11,6. Okay, but up here somewhere is a line, give it a different color, that is perpendicular. Okay, so somewhere is a line that cuts through the line L, and it's called J. So that's J, and this is our line L. Okay, and they're perpendicular to each other, which means that they're at right angles to each other, which means their slopes are not equal, but their slopes multiplied by each other will give you -1, or the relationship between the slopes, turn it upside down, and change sign. Okay, so that's the bit of theory we are going to be using. I figure when I see perpendicular lines. Write down the slope of the line J. Okay, so this is why this question is so important for Junior Cert Higher Level, because this is all the extra pieces that's in Junior Cert Higher Level that is not in the ordinary level course. So if the slope of the line L is 2, I need to turn that slope upside down and I need to change its sign. Okay, so let me write that down. So slope of L is equal to 2. Okay, and any number, any whole number can be written over 1. Therefore, that's maths language for therefore, slope of j is equal to, turn him upside down so that 2 over 1 becomes 1 over 2. He was a positive slope, so of course the perpendicular has to be negative. And if you look at the diagram, it's not the best one because it's gone off the page, but that's a positive slope. So of course the line perpendicular to it would have to be coming down. So that's why perpendicular lines always have opposite slopes. To maintain that 90 degrees, if one is going up, the other one has to be coming down. Okay, so that's the slope of the line J. And typically then you're asked to find the equation of that perpendicular line. They might not be so nice that they break this out into a separate question. They could go straight from this question, this line of text, down to find the equation of J. You still have to do this first. Okay, so to find the equation of a line, remember y is equal to mx plus c is when they give us an equation, but to find an equation, it's y minus y1. Okay, so y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So if I'm to find the equation of the line L, or the line J, I need two things. I need a point on J, x1, y1, and I need the slope of J. So we just found the slope of J to be minus a half. Do I have a point on J? Well, I have to have a point somewhere if they're going to ask me this question. So search back and find where is that point on J hidden. Okay, so let's sub those pieces of information in. So y minus y1 is 6 equals slope minus a half times x minus x1. Okay, when there's a fraction in front of slope, that bottom piece comes up here. And that's how we get rid of the fraction. Okay, you don't have to get rid of the fraction, but this is the cleanest way to do it. I'll show you in a minute how not to get rid of the fraction, and then multiply. So I have 2y minus 12 equals minus 1x, and minus by minus is a plus. Merge the two numbers. I have 2y being equal to minus 1x plus 11 plus 12. 2y is equal to minus 1x plus 12, 21, 23. Okay, if you didn't want to bring that up, let me just rub out the lines now. Okay, let's go from here again. Y minus 6 is equal to minus a half times x minus 11. You could have gone y minus 6 is equal to minus a half by x is minus a half x. Minus a half by minus 11, and of course you can do that in your calculator, is 11 over 2. Just like before, you need to merge the two numbers, so bring that minus 6 over to become plus 6. And I have 11 over 2 plus 6. Okay, that's a perfectly acceptable answer here. The difference between the two is this multiplied by 2 we did here. So in other words, if I was to multiply this one by 2, I would get 2y equals minus 1x plus 23. And you can check that in your calculator, and that's that answer. So these are in fact the same answer, the same equation, and it's perfectly okay that one is twice as big as the other because each part of it is twice as big. Okay, so either of these is an acceptable answer, and this multiplied by 2, which we did here when we brought across the 2, that is the link between what I'm calling the two answers. And that concludes that 2015 question.